Sarah Mitchell stood like a statue, arms behind her back in a crisp military stance. Her presence drowned out Ethan's words without effort. The air thickened not with drama, but with weight, the kind that makes you hold your breath. Lila took a step forward, her face a mix of pain and resolve. Ethan tried to laugh it off. Wow, didn't know you were coming. Big surprise. His grip on the mic tightened, betraying his nerves. Sarah's gaze didn't waver. She stepped closer, her voice low but cutting. You always did love the sound of your own voice. A ripple of knowing laughter passed through the crowd, not cruel, just sharp. Ethan blinked, forcing a smile. Look, I think you're misinterpreting. I heard you, Sarah cut in. So did everyone else. She turned slightly, scanning the guests. I don't care if you're from D.C. or Durham, in designer shoes or hand-me-downs. If you're sitting here watching a man tear down the woman he claims to love in front of her family, you're not a guest, you're a witness. Lila swallowed hard, her hands trembling, but not from fear. She wasn't alone anymore. Sarah faced Ethan again. Let me make this clear, son. Lila Carter is not your punchline. She's not your quirky anecdote to toss around at happy hour. Ethan opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Sarah stepped closer. This woman comes from a line of fighters, women who worked double shifts and still taught their kids to read. Women who buried loved ones and still showed up to fight for what's right. Women who didn't need to shout to be heard. Guests nodded. A few clapped softly, then louder. Lila looked down, blinking back tears. Her mother covered her mouth. One bridesmaid whispered, Amen. Sarah's voice softened, but not her resolve. Lila doesn't need saving. She needs respect. Ethan looked around, outnumbered, flustered. I was just being real, he said. Joking. Nerves, you know. Sarah raised a brow. If disrespect is your reflex under pressure, stay single. She let the words hang. Lila took a slow breath, memories of Ethan's offhand jabs and veiled critiques flooding back. Sarah gave her a subtle nod, a silent anchor. Ethan stepped back, looking to Lila, then the crowd, searching for an ally. He found none. Then Lila spoke, her voice steady, slicing through the silence. For years, she said, staring at him. 4 years, and you still don't know the difference between teasing and tearing someone down. Ethan's smile faltered. Babe, I don't, she snapped. Not after that. The crowd held its breath. Her aunt muttered, Lord, under her breath. Lila turned to the guests. This was supposed to be about love, about us building something real. But you used this moment to make me a character in your story, your joke. Ethan's father stiffened. His mother looked away. Even his best man studied his shoes. I fought for this, Lila continued. I made space for your flaws, your excuses. I coached you through talks with my family, explained why your jokes weren't funny, defended you when my friends saw red flags. Her eyes glistened. I carried us. And in the one moment I was supposed to be celebrated, you made me small. Ethan fumbled. It wasn't he, I didn't mean. Lila cut him off. Nerves don't reveal new truths. They show what's already there. A few guests nodded, others frozen, watching the unraveling of something that was never whole. Sarah stood quietly, arms behind her back, letting Lila take the stage. I spent too long convincing myself you could grow into someone worthy of me, Lila said. But you weren't growing. You were trying to make me shrink. Silence. She turned to the guests. This isn't a breakup speech. This is clarity. This is a woman refusing a future she didn't choose. She slipped off her ring a simple band, she'd picked herself, held it up briefly, and handed it to Ethan without fanfare. He stood, mic in one hand, ring in the other, speechless. Lila's cousin stepped forward, taking her bouquet. Mia gave a quiet nod. A guest began to clap slow, then steady, joined by others. Ethan's face burned, but Lila didn't look back. She turned to Sarah. Thank you for coming, she said, voice steady. I needed you more than I knew. Sarah's lips curved slightly. You didn't need me to speak. You just needed to remember your own voice. Lila exhaled, a real smile breaking through, not forced but free. The crowd stirred, some slipping away, others stunned. The harpist had set her instrument down. The officiant looked lost. The floral arch now framed something historic, not romantic. Lila stepped off the platform, her shoes sinking into the grass. She didn't care about the dirt on her gown. The guests parted as she walked, their expressions a mix of awe and unease. Her mother stood, pulling her into a hug. Lila sank into it, resting her forehead on her mother's shoulder like she did as a kid. "You good, baby?" her mother whispered. Lila nodded. "I am now." Her mother kissed her cheek. "Walk proud. Let him see." And she did. Near the last row, Sarah waited, arms at her sides now. Lila walked to her. No hesitation. "You look good in that uniform," Lila said softly. Sarah grunted. "Hot as hell, though." Lila laughed, a real laugh, the first all day. "I didn't think you'd come," she said. Sarah nodded. "Didn't think I'd make it. But something told me I needed to be here. You don't miss your kid's wedding if you can help it." Lila's eyes watered. "It means everything." Sarah glanced at the house. "Want to get out of here?" Lila nodded, stealing one last look at the altar. Ethan stood frozen, still holding the ring, the mic, his face pale, unsure if this was a nightmare or a viral moment waiting to happen. He wasn't a villain, just a man who didn't realize how small his words were until they echoed through something sacred. "Yeah," Lila said. "Let's go." Sarah didn't take her arm, just walked beside her, equal pace, equal strength. As they passed the catering tent, a young waiter whispered, "Respect." Lila gave him a nod. Her bridesmaids followed at a distance, unsure whether to speak or give her space. The ceremony had become something none could have predicted, yet no one would change a thing. Later, on the front porch, Lila sat on a bench, heels off, gown bunched around her ankles, veil in her lap, like a relic. She watched cars pull away, her expression not sad but clear, lighter. Sarah leaned against a column, still in her uniform, looking as at home among the roses as she did on a base. "Regret it?" Sarah asked. Lila shook her head. "Not a bit." Sarah nodded. "Good." They sat in silence, tires crunching gravel, wind stirring the trees. "You know," Lila said, "I thought if this didn't work, I'd be proving everyone right, the ones who said I was too picky, too much." She sighed. "So I bent, made myself quieter, easier. I didn't see how much I was losing until I couldn't find myself anymore." Sarah sat beside her. "Love doesn't ask you to shrink. And it sure doesn't ask you to erase yourself." Lila gave a tired laugh. "Wish I'd learned that sooner." Sarah shook her head. "You learned it at the altar. That's soon enough." Mia came down the steps, holding water bottles and a tote bag stuffed with essentials. "I got your things," she said. "Also, Ethan's mom might have taken a swing at the planner." "Missed, though?" Planner dodged like a pro. Sarah let out a deep laugh. Lila raised an eyebrow. "Seriously?" Mia nodded. "Impressive." Lila took the water. "You okay?" Mia asked. "Yeah," Lila said. "I actually am." Mia hugged her. "I'm proud of you. Not for how it ended, but for choosing yourself in front of everyone. That's strength." Lila hugged back. "Thanks for staying." As Mia headed inside, Sarah tapped Lila's shoulder. "What's tomorrow look like?" Lila shrugged. "No idea." Sarah grinned. "That means options. Think people will judge me for walking out?" Lila asked. Sarah shrugged. "Some will. Those aren't your people." Lila nodded, letting it sink in. The applause, the silence, the heartbreak, it wasn't wasted. It was a wake-up call. They walked down the steps, past empty chairs and wilting centerpieces, past crumpled programs and scattered petals. The ceremony could have ended in chaos, but Lila didn't feel broken. She felt free. That night, Lila sat cross-legged on her couch, still in her gown, makeup smudged but eyes clear. The house was quiet, just the hum of a ceiling fan and the occasional car outside. Her phone buzzed with texts, some from guests, others who'd heard the news. "You okay?" That was wild. She read them but didn't reply. Sarah slept in the guest room, her suitcase with navy tags in the hall. Lila had offered to wash her uniform, but Sarah waved it off. Seen worse. Lila opened her phone's voice recorder, not for the world, just for herself. "You don't notice it at first," she said, "when you start changing to keep someone comfortable. Small things, how you talk, laughing at jokes that aren't funny, staying quiet instead of speaking up. Then one day, you're at your own wedding, hearing someone tell a room your strength is a burden, your fire a flaw." She paused. I almost let it slide. Almost smiled through it to avoid a scene. But scenes happen whether you speak or not. The difference is who's in control. Her voice stayed calm. "I don't regret walking away. I regret waiting so long to remember who I was." She looked at her bare hands, no ring, no bouquet, just her. I hope someone hears this and stops doubting themselves. I hope they leave the room that makes them small, even if it's full of applause. She stopped the recording. The lesson was simple but heavy. Respect isn't a gift someone gives when they feel like it. It's a standard you set and guard. Love doesn't make you question your worth or turn your strengths into punchlines. Lila didn't feel brave that night, but courage isn't always loud. Sometimes it's choosing peace over performance. A week later, she emailed her guests. Thank you for your love and support. The wedding isn't happening, but the future is alive, and so am I. People would talk, some would call her dramatic, others would say she saved herself. But their opinions didn't matter. Lila chose herself in front of everyone, in a gown, holding nothing but her name. If you've ever dimmed your light to keep the peace, let this be your reminder. You don't owe anyone your worth. You don't need permission to walk away. Choose yourself, even if your voice shakes. Reflect, where are you shrinking? What would it look like to stand tall instead? Share this with someone who needs to hear it. We all deserve to be seen, unapologetically.